Hello there, my name is Wikianaru, and this is Before Your Eyes. So, I have played this game in the past. I tried to play it and record it, and stuff didn't work. So I waited a while. I've actually waited quite a while since I played it last. So some of the things are still kind of fuzzy. I remember the general details, but I'm not going to reveal them. One of the biggest things is that you basically look around and reveal things. It'll get shown, but you'll just have to wait. Wait for the magic. There we are. Ooh. Oh yeah, and I forgot it's super pretty. Yes, this is a game about blinking. So every time you blink, the game will notice. See how this works? Try blinking on the white symbol. When you see a metronome and blink, you'll jump forward. Keep blinking. Keep blinking. I forgot this game starts weird as hell.
Get away, you lucky fowls. That's mine.
Well, hello there, stranger. Ooh, you're a real bright and shiny one, aren't you? I asked you for your name, but sadly you got no mouth to speak with, or hands to shake with, or nose to look down with. So we're gonna have to find another way. See, what you'll find is, even though you're no longer in your body's still inside of you. If that makes any sense. So, if you understand what I'm saying, blink over my hand here. Ooh, well look at that. You're a blinking genius. I knew you were special. You see all them poor souls down there, lost in the waves? I didn't choose any of them. I chose you. See, I just sometimes get a sort of a hunch, or what's a better word? Notion? Better word than that.
I love that he just has a thesaurus. He just keeps a thesaurus on a boat.
Premonition, when a soul's worth pulling up.
Yes. I'm a soul. I'm dead.
See that tower out there?
Yep.
Big, scary one? That's where I'm taking you to see the gatekeeper. To be judged. I'm gonna present your case. Tell her the whole story of your entire life, from prow to stir. Now, if she's impressed, I get paid the Bitcoin, and you get yourself a spot in her magnificent city. If she ain't, well, I eat seagull for dinner again, and you, well, we don't have to worry about that, because I am the best orator you'll find on these sickly waters. Class A storyteller, believe you me. Oh, shut up, you trash bird.
They're calling him a liar.
You had your chances. It wasn't my fault you were no good. Layabouts. Unsatisfactory. Clock watchers. I got some words for you.
That's so weird. I forget that's why he has a thesaurus, is because he's a storyteller.
Sorry you had to hear that.
So these were all people once. So were those.
So sure, maybe I'm not the most verbose storyteller out there, but I know how to spin a yarn if I'm given something to work with. And that's where you come in. Your life. You're gonna show it to me. I want to see exactly what made you so absolutely great. So, just think back to the very beginning first thing that you can remember. I'm gonna send
God,
you
the
there.
sky is so pretty.
But understand, no matter how much you like it, you're not gonna be able to stay, all right? Every time you blink, you're going to jump forward in time. Could be a second, could be 5 years. That's just how this thing works. Alrighty then. I hope he's ready for this. Now, the next time that you blink, I'm gonna send you back. Now, don't be afraid, and don't try to fight it. The thing to remember about blinking is, well, it's only a matter of time. I'm touched you enjoy my company. I really am. But I'll have to ask you to have some respect for the process here.
Yeah. Okay. So, before your eyes.
Try to enjoy it this time.
Blink. Oh, look at the little
Look at that
boats.
sun.
Wow. Look.
We've got a
Oh,
long, beautiful day ahead of us.
look at that. Yeah,
Why are
pretty.
you smiling like that?
Because look at the clouds. They're so pretty. There's a blimp. Yeah, I love this. It's super. Oh. Mom? Ma'am? I think.
Let's go get you some seashells. What do you say?
Yeah, that's my mom, if I remember right. So he took you back to your earliest memory.
You see that big spiky plant over there?
Ooh.
That's called an agave.
Agave.
11 years from now, that plant will die so it can give birth to this tall, amazing tree covered in flowers. We'll have to keep our eyes on that one.
The day really slipped away, didn't it? Oh well, days have a tendency to do that, I guess.
He took us back to us.
Hey,
Uh-huh.
go ahead, kid. Look at that.
Benny,
There's a little
1-year-old. That's our dad.
We have to make him do this every birthday.
Whatcha? Whatcha? Oh yeah, that's right. Our
Oh,
mother.
You want to play along with Mom?
Our mother is a
don't you?
musician.
Sounds good, honey.
I'm sending it to my mentor next week. It has to be perfect.
Well, sounds pretty perfect to me.
Yeah, what do you like about it?
I like the music.
That's very specific.
I also like the person playing it.
Yeah. I worried that might have something to do.
So yeah, we get to watch our character grow up.
Look at his little face.
Look at it.
What do you think he's thinking about?
Probably solving the problems of the universe.
Yes, I am, Dad. I want to play with that. Oh yes.
No, it's not derivative. At least I didn't think it was. Do you think you could tell the other members of the selection committee what I just told you? Right. No, I'm sorry.
Splat.
I guess I just put a lot of expectation on this call. Okay, I understand. Thank you for considering my piece, John. It really means a lot.
I don't remember what the dad does.
Oh, that's sure a little mess of color.
No.
You know, if you keep working at it, one day you'll be able to paint exactly what's in your head.
Scrapbook. Yeah.
See? That used to be my piano. My dad gave it to me. He loved music. Fled his home country just to have a chance to pursue it. God, he made me practice so much. I hated it at first.
This game is more about looking, more about it's
I think he hoped to make
less
it further
about
than
me
conducting the high school choir.
talking.
Never said anything though.
You just
He's
gotta
what
listen.
you might call the strong, silent type. Can you believe I grew up in the snow? And I came all the way out here to the beach. I don't even know how I got here. Your dad got his job and I just came with him.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever say what the dad does.
Okay, Benny. Are you ready to see something
Yes, I
really
am.
special?
Oh, I think it's a puppy if I remember.
Richard.
Oh, it's a kitten.
It's the
That's
cutest
right.
thing I've ever seen.
Oh my
What's
god.
wrong with that?
We can't keep him. Can we? I mean, I'm pretty much definitely allergic, so no, right?
No. We'll find someone to take him.
No,
But
I'm keeping the
while he's
kitten.
here, I say we call him Ernie. Little Ernie. Fits him, doesn't it?
Oh, he's so cute.
He's so sweet. I bet someone likes his new cat.
Oh,
Richard.
so cute.
What?
His cat?
Yeah, I just mean, for now. Of course we're not going to keep him.
Right. I believe that. I know where this is going.
For
I-
now, honey.
I love this because this game is so good at the it
Now play the C major chord I taught you. Remember? There you go. Doesn't that make you feel happy? Like you just want to jump up and down? Now what about C minor? You remember how to play that one? Very good. Just one note
Hi,
different.
Ernie.
That one sounds sad, doesn't it? Amazing what a difference one little change can make on how a person feels.
It's just this great thing of how
Sort
there's
of like me and your little friend on your piano there.
there's these little things that you can remember. You can't fully piece them together, you know? You can't
She was in grad
remember
school
the whole
studying
world.
composition. I never met anyone like her. I just prayed to God I
I'm
could
cheaper
somehow
than
keep
hiring
up.
movers, trust me.
I think she liked that I was a professor.
That's right, he was a
Gave me a
professor.
certain gravitas in her eyes, you know, which I very quickly lost. God, she dragged me to so many places. It was wonderful.
Egypt.
Where would you want to go if you could only go to one?
That's such a great question. I actually there was the possibility of me studying abroad in Greece. I just couldn't afford it. That's difficult. Because there's a whole different thing. Probably Greece. Because like I said,
Well, just remember to put on sunscreen. Man, I gave you some unfortunate genes, didn't I? Luckily, Mom gave you some good ones, so yeah, let's hope they balance each other out.
Yeah, it's just that whole not remembering everything, but you remember snippets. So you just see the little things. You don't see everything, but you see some of it. This is just wonderful to me.
Wait, that's my piece. How did you figure out how to play that? Richard, are you hearing this?
What?
He's playing my piece. He must have figured it out by ear. I mean, I was a gifted kid, but he's brilliant. We need to get him into serious piano lessons.
Sure, but you know anyone who might be a good teacher for him?
What? I mean, in the city, sure. Not out here, I don't.
I mean, I know someone.
I was about to
who might
say,
be up to the task.
Mom?
He's very gifted.
Richard, no one in this town knows anything. Maybe I'll just have to do it myself.
There you go.
Good idea. I think that settles it.
But who's this mysterious woman you're talking about? I hope you're not in love with her.
You know, I really was for a while, but then she revealed herself to be much stupider than I thought.
Richard, what are you talking about?
Don't worry about it.
Hi. What you doing? You wanna play? You wanna play?
Oh, God, I have my interview in 5 minutes and I completely forgot to feed him.
You wanna play? You wanna play? Wow.
Don't worry, I already did.
For a moment, I forgot what a great father you are.
Focus on the interview, honey. I got this.
I love this. I love this game. It's wonderful. Because, like I said, it's just those bits and pieces.
Excuse me, of course, sir. It's all organized into folders, sitting ready on my kitchen table. They will literally be on your desk when you get in. What could possibly happen to the files between now and tomorrow morning?
Oh
You
no!
are fine.
Ernie, no! Ernie.
When's it coming?
I'm flying him out in February, remember? You know, I think he was pretty surprised that I could actually afford to do that.
Hey, why not? You're a working woman now.
I guess that's true.
Don't let it go to your head, but yeah.
Please let the cat know. It's time to use the litter box, though.
L. Stevens,
Baby
corporate
steps.
accountant.
He's got one eye.
I love that the mom let you keep the cat. It's wonderful.
This is called a metronome. We use it to measure time so we don't get lost in the music. I want you to start using it before Grandpa comes to visit. You know, my father once told me, when I was about your age, the only way to fight against time is to create a work of genius, which might live on after you're gone.
So yeah, there's some things that you
So I asked him,
remember
"What
more.
about your children?"
You remember better than others.
You know, I might be
More
worth
vividly.
genius just as I was. He said, "Yes, I suppose, if you made a work of genius." I haven't seen him in over 10 years. Can you believe that? I wonder if he'll even recognize me.
Of course he will. Why am I awake at this hour? Oh. If I remember, something's not right with her dad.
You really need to stay in time with the metronome, okay?
Subdivide the time. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E.
You're off. You're off, Ben. You can't hear that?
There you go,
Hi,
buddy.
Martin.
Okay, now keep a firm grip on it.
Oh,
just like that.
I got a camera.
Oh my. Don't think you like that, pal. Sorry, buddy. Turn around, Elle, so we can photograph you.
I'm just really behind right now. Why don't you take photos in the backyard? It may not be interesting at first, but if you keep going back out there every day, you'll be surprised by how much it changes.
I love this. It's
Ernie,
wonderful.
Buddy.
Ernie!
Ernie.
Ernie, we need
Oh
you!
no, we lost Ernie. I forgot about that.
God, Elle, what if you got eaten by a coyote?
My sinuses would be eternally indebted.
What did you just say?
Don't
No, I
talk
said I'm
about
really worried.
that like
Here,
my
kitty,
cat.
kitty.
God, honey, I'm worried too.
So
Alright,
you're saying
Ernie.
it's a coincidence that it disappears for weeks and then comes back with a huge belly?
But Ernie's a boy.
And you're
Ernie's
sure about that?
Ernie's a
I'm
mommy.
still not understanding how you let this happen.
I don't know. I didn't think about it. It just happened.
You just happened to find a stray cat in the alley. We keep it even though I hate cats. And now it just happens to pop out 5 more.
I mean, I love cats. I'm
Keeps
allergic.
Coloring the grass
I'm
blue,
allergic
the
to
ocean
them,
green,
but
and
you
then
know.
the sky red.
In
Were you able to pick up the new book?
Yes, the Manila Galleon was of particular interest.
I meant Benny's book.
Visit Australia.
Got those two.
Dinosaurs. See, yeah, there's some of these which confuse me. Oh yeah, that's right. There's like a really mean dog in the backyard. If I remember right, it's crazy sad, and I don't know if I want to...
I know it seems impossible that you could ever play something so complex, but just take it one day at a time. Trust me. You're really getting there, honey. Next week we'll start working on your other hand. Listen to him, Richard. I'm enlisting him in that competition.
I thought you said competitions took the joy out of playing music.
Not if you win.
Not if you win.
Okay. 2 brackets on each side.
The quiz said find the zero, and he just drew an arrow pointing to it.
Well, what's wrong with that?
I mean, everything. is
Creative
like that.
solution. Look at it. He found the zero.
Congratulations, B! First of many, I'd assume.
I want that box full by the time I come in there. We don't
Aw,
play with it anymore. We're getting rid of it.
our little boat.
This isn't my house. It's not my house. Fall back, you fool.
Yeah, I remember
I'll
this.
have your heads. I'll feed them to the cat. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Come over here. Yes, Mr. Camera Boy, I'm talking to you. Why are you always out here taking photos? You know, if you really want to take a photo of something cool, you should take a photo of this.
Chloe!
Oh shoot, I think I gotta go. But, try to take a photo of me running into my house. I'm pretty fast, so I don't think you'll be able to. But you can try. What the hell? How did he do that?
This game is it's just there's the pureness to it, but it
Betty's about to play for us.
Wow, Elle, he's unbelievable. My God, I didn't realize our head of accounting was raising a musical prodigy.
Didn't you used to be a composer yourself, Elle?
No, I don't know if I'd say that.
But you used to write your own music, right?
Yeah, but I haven't done that in years. Not since he was 4 or 5 years old.
And what do you do, Richard?
He's a professor.
Of what?
Well, no one really knows.
No, I mean, what's his field?
It's maritime archaeology.
Ah, very cool.
very meaning he has no
one
idea
really
what he's
knows
talking
what
about.
it means.
Unknown legend.
It's kind of one of those professions that stops a dinner party short.
Oh,
Okay, more wine?
I'll have a little more wine, please.
Nah, not sure.
Oh,
The class is world history. My name is Mr. Isaac. The class will be broken up in
Hey, you.
units.
it's our friend Chloe. Hi,
Look on your
Chloe.
desk. I wrote you something.
We're in the same class. What a coincidence. Please keep in mind that while we're at school, we
This
don't
is
know each
quote.
other. Don't talk to
I
me
want
ever.
each of you
Love
to
Chloe.
write it down. not doodle on the sidelines, not stare off into space.
Those who cannot remember the past
Now,
are condemned to
I will
repeat
go on
it.
to the next slide. Chloe, tell me, what did the quote say?
Right, I definitely know this.
You were taking notes, weren't you, Chloe?
Oh, yes, of course. It's that people who are in the past
Oh yeah, if it's,
always remember.
yeah, we're supposed to help.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And what's a better illustration of this point than Chloe's pathetic performance right there?
That is
If we
mean,
do
Mr.
not
Isaac.
keep an accurate account of the past, we are destined to
I
embarrass
realize
ourselves
I said
in all
don't
sorts of
talk
ways.
to me, but I didn't mean don't help me.
Now, on
You
to
have
what
the
you've all
answer
been
sitting
waiting
right
for.
there.
Great.
Stupid jerk.
Assessments, 60%.
I don't know. I don't remember whether or not this game has multiple endings or
That's
not.
work we do about activity. Participation, 20%. I will give you a moment to write this all down.
Let's jump ahead. What is
I
this?
tried to convince your father not to buy it.
Oh,
but
yes.
He insisted. Half suspect he bought it for himself. The little guy
Consters.
though. I will admit that.
A new
Oh,
contestant
job
has
well
approached. At long last, your favorite consters are ready for battle for the playscope. Join Marcy and her four sad brothers as they search for their lost mother, the legendary Queen Conch. Entrap gooey monsters with Dr. Ebb's patented seashells and coerce them into spectacular battles. And when all else fails, just use your conscience. I love this. It's like here's Pokemon.
I've definitely seen you next door, but I didn't realize you guys had become friends.
Oh, sure. We sit together in history class. I don't know what I'd do without old Benny.
Very
Old
sweet. Thank you for playing this game with him.
You are not my friend, by the way. Since you refused to help me in class, I decided our relationship is purely transactional.
Transactional.
Okay, shut up. I really want this one. Maybe I'll use Tickle Stick.
I can't remember. There's something I was about to say. There's one of them I can.
Whoa, that's a pretty good drawing. You should draw pictures of more different stuff. Not me, though.
I'm gonna draw you.
I'll actually kill you if you try to draw me, and you saw what I'm capable of in your backyard. Benny, why did you draw me? You're not good enough.
I love that.
I look so ugly. Ugh.
That's amazing.
It's called a magnet school. It's about
Burton
an hour away in a
Conservatory
town
of
called
Music.
Burton. I know the change can be scary, but I just want you to go in and meet the dean I spoke with. You know, life can take you to some incredible places if you're really, really good at something. It's just, you've had so much trouble making friends at Playco.
The playscape.
I want you at a place where people really get you.
I have something that I can just doodle. No? Okay. Hello,
So
sir.
what do you think, Benjamin?
Don't
You think
call
you
me
could
Benjamin.
Excel in that sort of an environment?
Sorry, he gets very shy.
Oh, not to worry. If he's as gifted as you say he is, shyness is no problem. Why don't you two come back closer to the end of the year for an audition?
Yeah, I
I'll get a
forgot.
few
that's the thing. You
pieces
have to
that you can have him
audition for
start
magnet
learning.
schools.
I'm eager to hear what your son is capable of. So, I understand you were a musician yourself. Where did you study?
Oh, Berkeley. But I was in the composition department.
Ah, and who did you study under?
John MacDonald?
I understand he's very difficult.
Yes.
His lip sync is off.
Taciturn is the word I use.
Taciturn. Yes. People have described me that way, if you can believe it.
Oh, I would never say that about you.
Thank you. I wouldn't either.
You can't, though.
You seem very warm.
You can't do that. Bach. Ugh. The Well-Tempered Clavier, 48 preludes and features.
As you can see, there's
Oh.
some very fast runs in there, and a lot of stuff I've not taught you properly yet. So no pressure. I just want you to try, and we can see if you start enjoying it. Just like to see you really rise to the occasion, just this once. I wish I had the option of going to a school like that when I was your age. I wouldn't be working this boring job or living in this boring town, I'll tell you that. What was that? Was that the piece?
No.
What is going on with you these days? I barely know whose kid you're supposed to be.
Mine. I'm my own. Days until audition. Remember, today is the first day of the rest of your life. See, that lovely picture of hers gone.
Don't answer that, Ben. You can talk to your friend after you practice.
I'm gonna talk to my friend. I want to talk to my friend. I want to talk to my friend.
Oh my god. Is she really calling you again? What, is she obsessed with you?
She's a caring friend. Soapy.
What are you doing? I explicitly asked you not to pick up the phone.
Oh, he's fine. Let's talk to her.
Oh, what do you know about anything that's going on right now?
Okay, you know, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't raise your voice like that.
Well, then don't stick your nose into things that you're completely checked out of.
Okay.
Man,
Maybe
did I just
am
cause
a
a
little
fight
checked out,
with your
but
parents?
I actually think the
I'm
fact
sorry,
that I'm
dude,
checked out means
but
I'm
you
able
should
to
also
help
cherish
the ocean
these
here a little
moments.
bit.
My mom and dad used to fight, and I would always hate it, but now I actually miss it a lot. Anyway, so basically across the board, crustacean types perform well against mollusk types. So we got to be leaning on lobster a lot more in these reef battles. Then, once we get to the trench, we'll be facing what they call craniate types, so chondric types will be what we need. But we haven't even gotten any of those yet. Anyway, it's all pretty complicated, so we can go over it in history class tomorrow. But listen, I definitely don't want you to play without me, but if you do end up playing without me, spend as much time as possible in the Red Reef, because that's supposedly where you can find these chondric types, which we're for sure gonna need. But we'll talk more tomorrow, okay?
I love.
Okay, I gotta go.
It's just that seems like a schoolyard rumor type thing, you know?
Anubis, in the presence of Ma'at, who you remember is the goddess of truth and justice, would weigh the deceased soul against a feather, determining whether it was worthy of entering into her land of the dead. And what if they are deemed unworthy? Well, you can see that ugly fur ball under the scale? That is
Mr. Kid.
and yes, that's a she. The head
Oh
of a
my god.
crocodile,
Dear weird neighbor kid.
fur of a lion. See, and the body
Tonight
of a
after my dad goes to
hippopotamus.
sleep, I'm going to sneak out of my house
Well, I
and
would
go
not say that to
sleep
her
on the beach.
face.
If you want to get invited,
Now,
draw me a picture of Mr.
As
Isaac
you
feeling
can
constipated.
see, she is ready to devour
Easy.
any of the deceased who do not pass judgment.
Ew, why is he so scared looking?
Me.
Okay, I'll call you when I'm leaving my house. You better pick up my call, dude.
I am not quite sure why I don't hear more frantic scribbling right now.
Days until audition 1. You got this, B.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the only reason she keeps coming here is to play that game you bought for him.
Okay, listen, I don't claim to understand the motives of children.
Richard, Benny has a chance here. A real chance to be really good at something. I mean, no offense at all. don't think you actually.
Yeah,
really
look at how
understand
quickly
about
it's closing it. Yeah. There's so many different things about this it's crazy.
Lights out. You need to be rested for tomorrow. Memory consolidates when you're asleep. So if you go to sleep now, you will awaken a master. Trust me.
Richard, tell your son to turn the lights off.
Benny, Mom says turn the lights off.
Not Mom says, you say.
Benny.
So, if I remember right, this is the...
Wow, didn't think you'd actually pick up. I mistook you for a baby. I apologize. Okay, so meet me out in the alley in T- now, okay? Chloe, out.
You know, I'm really glad you're here. There's something I've been meaning to talk to you about. Or to get off my chest. Okay. I don't think Kongsters is actually a really good game. My cousin Yoon, he was in town this weekend, and he was explaining how it's actually a ripoff of a really good Japanese game.
Yeah,
He calls
Pokemon.
it a cash grab. So, I'm sorry that I made you like it because it's actually a terrible game. But I also think that if it was a really good game, maybe we wouldn't have enjoyed playing it as much.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Probably didn't sleep at all. Out in the cold all night. You're already feeling sick, aren't you? It's okay. You still got this. I mean, all the practice had to count for something. Maybe just try and close your eyes now and get a little sleep on the way over.
In your own time, Benjamin, we are very excited to hear.
I'm not very excited to be here. Does Bach actually have music that is timed that quickly? Oh yeah, that's right. It starts to pass out.
Oh, okay. I think that's enough. So, Benjamin, why don't we plan on having you come back next year again, once you've had a bit more time to practice? Yes? As you know, Burton isn't the right fit for every student, and I wish you the best of luck on your path, wherever it may take you, okay? All right. I really want to thank you and your mother for coming all the way out here. I know it was quite the drive.
So I think there's not many...
Maybe I pushed you too hard. Maybe I turned into my own father. I don't know. You have to find something to focus on. The world isn't very kind to people who aren't really good at something.
But I think there may be a couple of alternatives. Like, there may be a
Wanting
couple of
home from school
different
for
things.
a while.
Yeah.
Just until this nasty thing clears. Hey, Elle, would you mind taking a quick walk with me down to my office? There's a small clerical thing I need you to look at before I can let you two go.
Oh, yes, of course. I'll be right back, Benny, okay?
Just maybe 5 minutes, kiddo, okay?
Yeah, if I he ends up with some something in his lungs.
It's such a crucial time in his development. He shouldn't be confined to his room.
Yeah, look, having him home for a little means I can spend more time with him. You know? We can focus him, make sure he's staying engaged.
Can we please try to speak a little softer? I really...
There's that tree she was talking about.
This isn't video game time. I want you to figure out something actually productive to do while you're home from school.
Video games. God, that would be awful. Giveaway. Boat. Boat. Happiness. Boat.
Why isn't your son eating with us, Al?
No. You mean young Vincent? Well, ever since he got sick, all he does...
Yeah. All he does...
Mr. Benjamin Bryn has been awarded first place.
See, I wish I could draw like that. I cannot. Art school application. Question 3. In 2 short paragraphs, describe what makes you want to pursue a career in arts. Hello.
You are not here to learn to be painters. You are here to learn to be artists. And although I was hired to teach you, it is a sham. There is no teaching art. So don't just sit there slack, Jod!
I don't like that. Very rude.
Oh, how very wacky and fun these are. It's very zany, very kitsch. Lucky for you, the world is always in need of more greeting card artists.
You're a dick.
There you go, Mr. Bryn.
This isn't art.
Feel each shape.
God, I hate...
Oh, you fiend.
I hate minimalism so much.
I want you all to take a long look at what Mr. Bryn has done here. You see, he has reached down deep within himself and created a masterpiece.
No. I created some lines and color. I hate minimalist art. I hate it.
I'm stunned. The ironic sincerity of this piece is so sincerely ironic.
You're using
He's
ironic.
The discourse so thoroughly, I'm actually dizzy.
You have no idea what the words you're saying mean.
I know that lots of agents gave you lots of cards, and it all probably feels weird and alienating and the opposite of what being a starving artist is supposed to feel like. But if I can teach you one thing, it's that if opportunity knocks, you open the door. Making a living isn't selling out.
I miss Chloe.
I wish I had thought of it that way.
Benjamin! Marvelous show last week. Truly stunning. I've never been prouder. And one little thing. A birdie told me that Elba Pressenhuber gave you her card. Now, I want you to cut that card into little pieces and feed it to an alley cat. Elba Pressenhuber is not in the business of the arts. Elba Pressenhuber is in the business of business. And you, child, you are no business.
I don't understand that, man.
Don't
Hello.
worry. You're not selling your soul. Well, look at that. You've crumpled my contract.
Yes, I have.
To being a difficult artist, the best of us are.
Clink.
Ah, this is divine.
You don't know. I don't like any of you. I'm starting to hate all of you. You're all a pain in my butt. Oh, I get to Greece!
Stop.
I went to Greece!
I think it is.
All places.
I went to Greece! This is different. I went to Greece. Holy crap! Yeah, this is different. I'd never remember going to Greece.
I bet you're happy you threw that contract in her face now. You didn't sell out, and you still got rich. Oh, but listen to me, Benjamin. Now is the single most important moment in your entire career. Collectors, curators, how we all love a rising star, and how bored we become once it's settled. Keep rising, Benjamin.
Can I talk to, like, go back, talk to my family?
Ben, don't even pick up this call, okay? I mean it. I'm just calling to inform you that I went to the doctor today, and, well, I'm gonna be a little sick for a while, but really, I don't want you... Oh, Benny, I told you not to pick up. There's nothing you can do for me right now. All you can do is just keep painting, keep striving. You make that work of true genius. I can just tell you're almost there. So, I'm going to hang up the phone now, and you're just gonna get back to work, okay? Goodbye, Benny.
But that's enough from me. Now, you'll hear from the person who I believe was the single thing in the world my wife was most proud of. Her magnum opus, so to speak.
I don't remember this part. So apparently there are different paths.
Benny? You ready to come up here? Go on, B. Say something.
Oh, God.
What's wrong?
Ben.
You talking?
Buddy, you're having a mental breakdown, my guy. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Hey, you. As you know, I talk to big, very important people every day. And there's one thing that everybody is asking me. What's going on with Benjamin Brin? And what am I supposed to say? That I haven't heard from my star pupil in 6 months? This is getting ridiculous.
How about you shut up? The guy just lost his mother.
Are a snake. You're a fraud. But worst of all, Benjamin, you're a little tease.
Hey, B. Just calling to tell you. I think I'm selling the house. She's everywhere here, son. I can't move without bumping into her. And then I just find myself breaking down again. I hope you understand.
Oh, yeah, this is a completely different path.
Take whatever you want. With your mother gone, I'm hoping to finally live without all the clutter.
I'm just so glad you got to speak to her one last time. I mean, I know she told you not to pick up the phone, but, well, I'm just so happy that you did.
She just wanted you to focus on your work. That was the only thing that mattered to her. What's that? What's so fascinating, son?
This is gorgeous. I love it.
Look. It's unbelievable, Benny. It's like she's standing in the room with us. Like I can see her in the paint.
I'm about to cry. I'm sitting here trying not to cry. I don't remember if the game did this to me last time, but I feel like I'm about to cry. The passing day, inspired by the musical composition of his late mother, the composer Elle Stevens, relatively unknown in her life, Bryn lifted his mother's work out of obscurity with the creation of this piece. She's now considered to be one of the great composers of her time.
It's been years.
Yep, and we
I
finally
just walked
meet
through
Chloe.
the entire show. It's unbelievable. I'd love to
Hi,
walk
Chloe.
through it again with you. I mean, if you were down for that.
Absolutely, Chloe. Let's do
I
it.
just can't believe that my entire childhood I was living next to a bona fide genius. And your mom. I always
hate
heard
that.
her playing piano
Ugh.
next door.
I don't like
but
that
I
piece.
didn't know she wrote the actual music.
Mm-hmm.
She was a genius. Hey, so not to be forward, but what are you doing after this? Maybe we could get a drink or something? I'd really love to catch up. I can't believe everything that's happened to you. I want to hear all about it.
Now would you look at that? I cannot believe my luck. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! You finally hit the jackpot, Flapjack.
His name's Flapjack.
Nobody, nothing's dying every day. You finally sink your hook into a... Whoa! Well, there you are. Well, hello, sir. If I had realized, I would have cleaned up. I'm just used to fishing up a different class of soul. I mean, sure, I've had scientists,
God, that's ominous.
a couple college athletes here or there, but whew, internationally renowned painter? The gatekeeper's gonna eat you up. Hey, speaking of that, why don't we give your story a test run? Maybe you help me out with the word choice, since, you know, I'm still working on that. See if I'm getting all the strokes right, the proper composition, if you catch my drift. Forget about it. All right, here we go. Gatekeeper! Before you stands the soul of a great man. Now, would you describe yourself as a happy kid or a lonely one?
I was happy with Chloe.
His childhood was a happy one, growing up in a loving home raised by loving parents in a quaint village by the sea. And, what'd you say your mom was? A composer or an accountant?
She was a composer.
His mother was a composer who, with the need to support her family, took a job as an accountant. How would you describe her as a teacher? More encouraging or demanding?
She was pretty
Kinda
demanding.
Like your champion or more like a taskmaster. Therefore, as his piano teacher, she was over-demanding, forcing him to practice day in and day out, hoping that he might one day achieve that greatness that she never could.
I want to push the boatmaster off the
How
freaking
about that
boat.
neighbor girl? What was she to you? Was she your best friend or your first love? Now, be honest here. Don't be bashful, man. You can tell me.
She was probably his first love.
But on the eve of his big audition, he completely dropped the ball, staying up all night with his first love and blowing it the next day. Now, from that moment forward, his mother gave up on him. She knew he didn't have what it took to be a truly great musician. But little did she know, she just picked the wrong medium, right? See, when he was 12 years old, he got sick, and he had to stay inside for an entire year. And in that year, he rediscovered a talent he'd forgotten.
painting.
He never forgot that.
Sure, he loved finger painting as a child. Color and shape were the first languages he learned to speak. But for the
This
first
is
time,
ominous.
he saw it in a more serious light. He was accepted into an exclusive art school where he caught the eye of an esteemed professor who launched his work into the national spotlight. Now be quiet, all of you. With expectations on his career mounting, he stalled himself into bankruptcy, which turned out to be a blessing, for it wasn't until he returned home to the house he grew up in that he began work on what would ultimately be considered his masterpiece. I said shut up, you scumballs! You mucky fowls!
I was about to say he's gonna start barking again.
All right! I get it! I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I had assumed as much anyway. I should probably tell you, those things, they're not regular gulls. They're lyre birds. They're what becomes of souls who tried to lie to the gatekeeper. And once they try that, they're never allowed near her city again. I get to feeling bad for not defending them right, so they just stay on with me. Living reminders of my oratory shortcomings. Oh, yeah, good thinking. I'll be back to get you once I'm done with this one. Hopefully you won't be seeing him again.
God, that's scary.
You're a flea-bitten sap, you know that? Just look at him. Poor fool doesn't know what he's in for. Now don't think that I haven't dealt with people like you. You're ashamed of something. Something so terrible, you're trying to blink right past it. Because if the gatekeeper knew, she'd have to dream up fresh new hells to punish someone as worthless as you. And I'm sure you're right. I'm sure you're the rottenest soul that I ever fished out of that black muck. And I should have thrown you back and sanitized my paw as soon as I laid eyes on you. But it's too late for that. We're in this together. And the gatekeeper, she'll see right through your fake lies as if they were glass. So I'm gonna ask you again to start from the very beginning. And this time, I want the truth.
Yeah, this is where things get incredibly, incredibly sad. Hi, Mom. There's a bird.
Not this.
Hi.
Now play the C major chord I taught you. Remember?
Come on, keep blinking. I haven't found it yet.
Doesn't that make you feel happy? You know, my father once told me.
This. Stay here. What did your mother hear on that phone call?
If I remember right, I think it's her father passed away.
I'm getting it. Hello? Yes, of course. This is Elle, his daughter.
Yeah.
Oh.
You see, she knew she hadn't yet lived up to her father's expectations. And now, she never could. Let's keep going.
Eternally indebted.
What did you just say?
This isn't a trip down memory lane. Yes, I understand about the cat. Let's
You
keep
don't
going.
understand about the cat. You dick. Yeah. And the cat gets eaten. I can't remember if it's the cat or her kittens. Or all of them. I don't remember. Something bad happens here. Yep.
The death of those cats must have taught you a terrifying lesson. That simply being alive wasn't enough. So then you went to work to make yourself sensational.
Listen to him, Richard. I'm enlisting him in that.
I like hanging out with you a lot, which is weird because after what happened with my mom, I never like hanging out with anyone.
I know you want to stay here, man, but we don't have the time.
So this has been a big surprise for me this year, in a lot of ways.
I'm not worried about who you are, Benny. I'm worried about who you're going to become.
I get all this.
Hey, Elle, would you mind taking a quick walk with me down to my office?
Come on, keep blinking.
Yeah.
Focus him. Make sure he's staying engaged.
Try to speak a little softer. I really don't want to hear us talking about this.
What's the point?
What do you mean? What's the point? What does that mean?
What's the point of any of it? If he's never gonna get any better.
Okay. Let's not say that. Okay? We know we don't mean it.
I know I don't. I know.
I mean, what if he heard one of us saying something like that?
I'd never forgive myself.
It's okay. He's asleep. It's okay.
I see. You got sick. You howled at the moon at the top of your lungs. You were sick for a long time, weren't you? Sicker than healthy kids are supposed to get? Well, no matter how painful it gets, I need you to remember.
This isn't video game time. I want you to figure out something actually productive to do while you're home from school. Try writing with it. Well, hello, Benny. It was your grandfather's, but I used it in college to write lyrics.
So artsy.
Exactly. It was very artsy. Actually, I was just good at fooling your dad. Made him think I was some kind of genius. why don't you write the story of your life so far? And then what you're going to do once you get better. That's the story I want to hear.
The Great Life of Benjamin Brin. His childhood was a happy one. Growing up in a loving home. Raised by loving parents. In a quaint village by the sea. His mother was a composer.
Man, this is wild. You really got into this, didn't you? Oh, here I am. But on the eve of his big audition, he completely dropped the ball, staying up all night with his first love and blowing it the next day. First love? Okay, Benny. And you know, we really could have just slept on the beach another night. But I'm also glad we didn't because, well, another night wouldn't be the same night, if that makes sense. Okay, back to the story.
You are going to be in there for about 30 minutes.
God, I hate MRI
so
machines.
try to get comfortable.
If you've never been in an MRI machine, consider yourself lucky.
You're doing great, buddy. Just a little longer, okay?
Knock, knock. You're gonna be so annoyed with me, but I couldn't help but overhear Chloe reading loud from what I think was your story the other night. I know. I promised myself I wouldn't eavesdrop, but I would really love to read it if you'd let me. What do you say? You know I'm such a big fan of anything you do. I can't.
Just go in there and tell him you loved it.
I'm sorry, I just can't. Not right now.
Okay, don't worry. Just go to bed. I'll talk to you. Hey, B.
He opened the door with his mind.
Mom loved your story. She's just, you know, I think it was just very emotional for her to read. I thought it was great. I mean, look at this. His childhood was a happy one. Growing up in a loving home, raised by loving parents in a quaint village by the sea. I'm certainly glad you feel that way. But what I want to know is, where'd you learn to write so well? All those cool words. Reads like Dickens. Really just very cool stuff, kiddo. You should be very proud, okay? Okay. Love you, buddy.
Benjamin Brin was a loser. Oh no. I hate this. Oh yeah, that's right. Crap gets real weird. Crap gets real weird.
Benny! Benny! Ben! Oh God, can you hear me? Richard! Richard, get up!
If he's ever in pain, all he needs to do is press that red button and the drug will administer itself.
Thank you so much. You know, I know my wife would normally want to thank you herself.
No, I understand. It hits mothers the hardest, this sort of thing.
Thank you for understanding. It's been
It's been a rough one.
His father is incredibly strong.
Hey, Eddie. Yeah, hey man, it's Richard. Listen, I know Elle's been missing in action, but I just want you to understand things have taken a really bad turn here. Yeah, no, that's not going to be possible. To be honest, your whole tone is pissing me off right now. Yes, I understand you have a business to run. It's a very cliche thing to say to me in a time like this. Okay. Well, then I guess all I can say is screw you too. I said screw you too. Yeah, man, that's all I got.
Hey, this isn't funny, you know. What, you're too scared to talk to me? Well, just so you know, I know you're faking. Because if you were really sick, like actually sick, you'd have told me already. I happen to actually know about this stuff. So the fact that you are faking just so you don't have to go to school with me is actually ridiculous. I don't know if you're embarrassed about our night at the beach.
I remember when you were just 4 years old. Mom was going through a pretty tough time.
Dad looks like
Not
he's
as
going
tough
through a
as
pretty
now.
tough time right now.
Yeah, her music had been rejected, and she's having trouble adjusting to her quiet little life out here, and I feared that I was losing her. But then you played this on the piano, and just your little hands reaching up for the keys. She just couldn't believe how gifted you were. And once she heard that, well, it was like you brought her right back to me. So, I was wondering if maybe you could do that trick again. Try closing your eyes. See if you can remember.
Wait, that's my bass. How did you figure out how to play that?
One sec. Sorry about that. I'm back.
Keep playing, B. She's listening.
my god, I forgot about this. Holy crap.
What are you doing, Elle? She's gonna make you sick.
Oh, it's okay. I'm just so happy she's here. We've got to show this cat some real love. She's been through more than we can even imagine. She hasn't been over. Like, she didn't even care to visit?
No, I mean, I don't think he's told her.
And you're just letting that be?
I don't know her step. You know how Benny is.
She lost her mother a year ago. You knew that, right?
No, but what does that have to do with...
Okay, do we have her dad's number?
I don't know. Check the book.
Okay, I'm calling now.
Honey.
Oh, I didn't even see that. 29 missed calls.
Oh my god, you're an idiot. You do realize this is really nothing special to me. I've seen this all before. I was thinking about what you said in the story the other day and how I reacted to it. I feel kind of bad. I shouldn't have done that. But hey, what are you looking at? Don't look up there. Look at me. I'm talking to you. I want to give you something, but I think I don't want to be in the room when you see what it is. So maybe if you close your eyes, I can give it to you and I'm gonna leave. Close your eyes now, okay?
Dear weird neighbor kid, you're my first love. Love, Chloe.
What is that?
It's something new I'm working on.
So you're writing again?
It's just a melody that came to me. It feels good to play it.
It's sad.
Yeah, well, that would make sense. But do you like it?
I mean, yeah. I love everything you do.
What do you like about it?
Not this old trap.
Go on. I'm waiting.
Well, it made me feel like if the unspeakable darkness I'm carrying can be so well expressed, maybe it's not so unspeakable. Nailed it, didn't I?
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty good.
It's okay, Benny, I understand. There's no need to show me anymore.
No, Richard, it's like I can't breathe. Like there's this clamp on my chest.
I know. It's okay.
You can come back to me now. You know, for a while now, I've wondered if I'm just not a good enough storyteller.
If I just don't have grand enough words, can't tell grand enough stories. But grand words and stories, I think they may be overrated. Ugh. I know just what to tell her. Watch for her now. I've seen the gatekeeper take many forms depending on the soul I bring her. But once you see her, you'll know. Believe me. I should go get ready.
I can't remember what form she takes.
Don't worry. We got this. I think.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There she is. Wish me luck.
Gatekeeper, before you sits the soul of a child who died before he could grow old.
That means she's ready to hear your story.
You know, I never told you how much I loved your story. It's really so imaginative, and the person you wrote about is such an interesting and intense guy. My only issue was, well, I didn't like him very much. So, I wanted to read you something I wrote for you, which is about the Benny I've known for 11 years now. It's called The Great Life of Benjamin Brin. Benjamin Brin was born into an ordinary home, to an ordinary mother and father in a small town by the sea. His mother was a composer, or at least that's what she dreamed she'd be. So, when her own dreams didn't pan out, she began to dream for him. But then, when he was just 11 years old, he got sick and was forced to stay inside for an entire year. And in that year, he began to worry that he hadn't lived enough. So he made up a story of the great life he thought he wanted to live, which only made him forget the great life he already had, how he had filled a new home with light and joy and promise, how he met a girl, his neighbor, who felt all alone in the world and made her feel okay again, and how, even when he was sick, he still gave his parents hope, how he reminded them exactly who they were after they had almost forgotten. So when he knew he was going to go, he was okay, because he'd already lived a great life, a full life, and he was everything he needed to be, just as he was.
God, it makes me want to cry. I'm trying not to cry.
She accepts. Close your eyes now, and keep them closed. She's gonna let you in.
Why is he smiling like that?
He must be somewhere that he likes.
God, that is such an incredibly sad game. But it is so imaginative and so well thought out, and holy crap, everything about that game is amazing. I did not want to play that again. The first time I did it, it was, this game is dedicated to my father, Robert Hellworth, the man who taught me how to play. I completely forgot about that. I don't know if that's copyrighted or not, so I'm gonna. But if you guys have any games you'd like me to play, go ahead and put them down in the comments below. If you cried during this, please let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I'm all out of time for this one. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.